Working on my bees ever since the new update, and I finally figured out how to do everything with them. I've just been expanding my Beetopia here. Slowly but surely. Basically, I went out and I took the time to gather about 30 or so nests. And then, probably more than 30, but from there, I've just been making boxes. And, went out, spent a few hours collecting flowers so that they would have an area to gather pollen. And they will gather from berries. So I had like a lot of berries out here, but they kept dying because the berries will injure them. And so I just removed the berries because it was annoying the shit out of me. But they still like to come over here and mess with the berries, and so I'll lose some of my bees, but I can honestly tell you I'm not a fan of the new crafting, because you have to actually sit here and click every fucking time, and I'm used to just pressing and holding. I do like the craftable area though. I do enjoy that part of it. A jungle button. Button. But otherwise I hate just sitting here and clicking. Surprised I haven't got a trophy like extreme beehive mastery or something, but I did get one for something with the bees, but I tend to take things to the extreme when I'm building a farm. Just thinking about trying to find a way to automate this, which will be my next project. But for now, I'll just live with. I'm thinking if you just do automatic shears and it's just constantly shearing, because that's the one thing I've noticed since the update, or if it's just with the bees or if it's a mistake, but the shears do not receive damage when you shear, so you're able to use the same set of shears for the entire time, which is nice. It's been nice. But so I'm thinking if I just set up some automatic dispensers with shears, then I might be able to just do an automated thing. Yeah. I definitely like the boxes over the hives because it's just so much easier to see when the boxes are ready to be harvested as opposed to the hives where it's just like this kind of just matches the same yellow as the other, where this is clearly it's ready. And one thing I don't like is the honeycomb will come out both sides. So you know, if you do it here, so like that time it came out the back. So you know, now I got to run behind the hives and everything, and it's just like, just have it pop out the damn front. See what I mean? Ugh, sons of bitches. But with this many bees and this many hives, I mean, it doesn't take me long to get full stacks of honeycomb. And what's nice is if you're on peaceful, they won't sting you and die when you harvest them, so I definitely recommend switching to peaceful if you're gonna be like concentrating on your bee harvest, so that way you're not losing a bunch of bees. And I wish they automatically would just breed. But now you gotta get flowers, and it's a pain in the ass, but not the worst. I think I'm gonna make or just finish this row off, and then I'm gonna be calling it good on that. I mean, eventually I'm sure I will end up making more than I could ever need, but oh jeez, I didn't realize I had that much honeycomb. Wow, that worked out fucking perfect. Sweet. Yes, fill up with honey. Alright, well, I think that's enough for the time being. I don't think I need to make any more. I had a bunch of hives at the main city, and then I was like, wait a minute, I got a huge area open available, because I was gonna build something, either a bunch of buildings like in the main city and turn this into another large city, or another large building like the one over there. But then when this new update came along and there was like bees, and I was like, oh, perfect, I will make a bee colony area. And so I think my next plan is to encapsulate this area with a building, probably all glass, and then try and contain the bees, because they're going all the way freaking over there, and it's driving me nuts. And I was like, hey, fuckers, I put a bunch of flowers right here for you. And, damn it. Just use these flowers. So whenever I plan my areas, or if I'm going to develop a city, I always have a spot that I can go and kind of plan things out. So that's what this is for. So I'm just going to come up here and see if I want to build a building around this thing. How big do I want to make it? Do I want to add more bee colonies? This used to be a large hill, and so I took it down, and those materials is what a lot of what I used to make the facility. And then all of this is over water, so I built the ground out for here. This is almost all over water past this hillside here, and I've been slowly filling it in, and eventually I plan to fill it in out here, incorporate this island, fill in this whole area, just to utilize it, making nice flat ground so that it's easier to fill this in as well. It's easier to make my cities if I have it all on flat ground. This little area here took me, or are you talking about the bees? How long did the bees take? I mean, this is on legit survival, so I don't did anyone help me? Oh no, this I did all by myself, especially this area. My main city, there are maybe 3 buildings that somebody else made. I've been playing this map since they first came out with the game, so anytime there's a new update I'm able to expand my areas. But this is just one little area that I have. I have over probably 2,000 buildings. So my main area, which I'll go to now, I've also created a lot of stuff in the Nether here to be able to get to my different areas. Because I kind of just use this as a... I use the Nether as like a way to get around. And I'm so pissed about this new update, what they did to the minecarts. This is how fast they go now, are you fucking kidding me? In my main area of the map, I spent months digging tunnels, and I have tunnels that go from one end of the map to the other, all over the map. I mean, it's an entire subway system, and I mean, I used to do so much travel around the map with my tunnels, and now you can pretty much hop faster than most of the damn tunnels can take you, and so it's a little frustrating. Take any breaks? Well, yeah. I go for long periods of time without playing, especially like right now. The only reason I'm playing is because of the update, and then one of the games I play, Ghost Recon, stuff like that. Right now, I've already 100%ed everything available on that game, and I'm just waiting for the new update. And so, once the new update comes out, I'll probably go back to playing that. So this would be my main city, and I'll go up into my... If these will still work, it looks like it still works. No? Oh, come on. Oh, okay. Yeah, it still works. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but like this part of it, so each one of those is a 8x8 64 block building that I kind of use as a standard, especially like all over the map you'll find buildings, and a lot of the time it's just if I've been digging tunnels or exploring, then I'll go to the surface. If my inventory's full, I'll go to the surface, build a building, put a chest in it, you know, fully furnish it, and then I'll just dump all my block and then go back to digging the tunnel. And then, so I don't know if you know about the duplication glitch that was available for a little while. I actually had to utilize that to get a lot of what I have, because like I said, this is an original map, and so a lot of these blocks weren't available, and still aren't really on my map. In fact, like carrots and potatoes, the only reason I have those is because I was able to trade for them once they brought trading along. So there are a few things here that I shouldn't have technically, like I do have spawners, so this is technically a spawner tower I made that allows me to have mods that I shouldn't have, like pillagers and stuff like that, that I can spawn those. And then some of these projects took a lot longer than others. The aquarium took a long time only because there wasn't water there, and to fill in all the water block is what took a lot of the time. And and then also all of these things inside here were not available until the new update, so I actually had to go to the edge of the map and beyond, and then get coral, get the seaweed, get the cucumber, and bring it all back here and put it into the area. And then so every single building in the city, all these small buildings, are also all fully furnished. So they all have beds, crafting tables, chests. I also do a lot of automated farming. And that's the thing too, is people always wonder why I have so much stuff, and that's because I don't use what I already have. If I need coal, even if I have several blocks of coal in my inventory, I will still dig for it to use it. So like my automated sheep farm, my cactus farm, and then I have several other farms, but and then the building with the, well, what's supposed to be a tree coming out of it, that one that's one of the buildings I was working on with a friend. So this building here, this is supposed to be a tree eventually. And then another friend made, this is an automated, I think, carrot farm. But another friend, I believe it was Devious, made this little building area here. I just kind of made it certified. And my melon storage. So in there is a wither skeleton spawner, and this is a pillager spawner, and one of these is like a witch. The only one I couldn't do is the one that spawns all that damn shit, because it just kills you way too fast. But and then yeah, I have several areas, but the two that we've seen are pretty much the main ones. But this is the area that I've spent most of my time on, and there are probably over 1,000 buildings here alone. And I tend to do things a little over the top when I do it. So if I do make a little farm, like with the beehives, I can't just make one or two. It's going to be 500. And same with shit that just doesn't make sense to have too much of. But I'll have my cocoa bean farm. It is ridiculous. So this building is the cocoa bean farm. You never know when you might need thousands of cocoa beans, so. And then, one of the things I did definitely go overboard on, and it lags a little, because, like I said, I duplicated a little bit of stuff, and the best way to duplicate things is inside a shulker chest. Hello? Hello?
You know what? I actually think I like 99% sure getting paid on the 25th.
So in here I have one chest at least for every item of the game. So this used to be so much faster.
I thought this one lady that works there. Language sounds like it. You listen to their language, it sounds very Spanish. There was a lot of language from European got intertwined in their language too, so it sounds very
So I did place guardian spawners in here. Sorry, I'm on a game. Alright, well, Call me later. Alright. Bye. Alright, sorry. So yeah, anyway, I tried putting fish in here. I went and gathered in buckets tropical fish and everything, but they freaking die. Because I guess there's blocks on the surface. But, so I just put guardians in here and they'll spawn and there'll be a bunch of them in there when it's not on peaceful. Freaking cats everywhere. Anyone out there? Get out. And then on, I do have a creative map. And then on the creative map, this is kind of a replica of a pyramid that a buddy of mine and myself built that took up a quarter of the map. It was, took us a couple months, but we did do it on creative. But it was a lot of fun building it, but I don't think I'll invest in a project like that again. So this is one of my testing areas. I was testing different ways to try to build some of these farms. I guess I'm one of those, I like to find ways to do it myself before I'll watch somebody else do it on YouTube, or I'll take their ideas and then build it the way I would build it. And that's the thing, is once you understand the physics behind, it's easy to build a lot of these spawners that are available. And a lot of people might not remember the transmutation devices. That was one of when Minecraft was first out, you could build transmutation devices, and it was the only way to have more blocks than just the standard blocks. You had to use a transmutation device to make different kinds of sandstone and everything, and they would only work in certain spots. But I used to enjoy building these transmutation devices. I would literally sit there for hours and transfer the different stone into other building blocks so that I could switch things up. Because basically, if you look at an aerial view of my main city, you can see the progression of whenever there was an update. So you can see like the inner city, it was just plain stone or cobblestone. And then you can see where the Nether was added, and there's Nether stone used in the ceilings and everything. And then once they added colored glass, you could see the colored glass added to the buildings. And so it's kind of like the rings of a tree. You could really see where each update occurred. It's like, for example, I used all these torches. Well, then when they made lanterns, I was able to utilize lanterns, and that's part of the thing too, is I have rebuilt and repurposed a lot of the existing structures on this map. So as soon as they update or add something, I will go back and I'll change things. I will add to them, take away from them, and that's one of the things I enjoy doing as well. So like, this was one of the first spawners I ever built. It's a little different now because the skeletons would fall down, come here, and then they would float up, and then I'd have the killing area right here, which is why it's the only spot that doesn't have diamond block. But then when they changed where mods no longer float, I had to kind of change it up as well. So this was this is my archery practice area, and so this is a transmutation device, and these were the blocks you were able to change things into depending upon where the flow of water was. And so I would literally sit here for hours a day and change the blocks. This used to be a see-through floor. Before they had sideways wood, it would just create a see-through block. And so it might look a little stupid now, but at one time it was completely see-through. And then, oh man, somebody came in here and fucked with this shit. This is like a little hidden area. That's where I used to have all of my hidden stuff before I had my chest room. And then I could go down, so I created a room that all mods would spawn in. So this was like a little safe zone. And this is another transmutation device, because what ended up happening is my buddies wanted to use the transmutation device, and so I built another one so that one person could be making block for their building up here, and then one down there. And then this was the area that I made so that you could kill mods non-stop, and every single mod, including slime block, would spawn here. And this is, you know, that when they didn't just spawn everywhere in the surface, everything spawns down here. And but now, I mean, everything spawns. And then this is from when you used to do the place duplication glitch. And so we would sit here. It's actually how I have a lot of these diamond blocks and emeralds and everything, is we would sit here all day and just duplicate. And but once the new, loading duplication glitch was found, that's where I got all this stuff in my chest room was from utilizing that glitch. And that was, like I said, mostly because those items weren't available in my regular world. But now, though, everything's available because we have a never-ending map. Yeah, every one of those tunnels goes to an area. Some of the areas have 25 to 50 buildings. Some of them are big, huge buildings. But this is where I spend a majority of my time building stuff. But that's the thing, is like I've kind of built this area as much as I can, and that's why I'm taking down more of the mountainsides. Like over here, this used to be hill, and so I built into this hill, but I hate doing this. I like everything being flat and at the same elevation. And so like this area used to be a mountain, that area over there used to be a mountain, and I dug it down. And so I'm currently digging all of this down, and it also is what provides me the cobblestone that I use to build these buildings. And so I'm just slowly but surely digging away at the sides here, and then as soon as I clear enough room, I build another row of buildings. And so slowly but surely this area will continue to expand, but I've been mostly working on the new areas, and or I'll just go on an exploration and just, once my inventory's full, I'll just build a huge building out of it and just continue to grow that area. And then I'll build a pathway in the Nether to it, and just start working on that area for a little while. And That way, because if you just sit here and work on like all these little buildings for the main city, it just gets real boring real quick. And where this is more of a, allows me to enjoy it a lot more. This is my blaze spawner. I would have built it a little different, unfortunately. So you have to come up here to get them to spawn, and then you gotta go back down. But I think if I would have just shortened this by another block, which I may do, so I might just put stairs up to it. I think they'd just spawn. And so what's funny is above us, you used to be able to use a ender pearl and get through the outside of the walls, and so I have an entire area. Luckily I I took it all down, but you used to be able to get through the map. And then so above the Nether I have buildings, and I have a bunch of chests and everything, but you can't access that anymore, so well. But and so let's see, this goes out to one of my areas. I like to build these nether pathways to get to the different areas. Otherwise, you know, the rails take a long time. Although I do have rail tunnels to most all of these areas, I like to utilize the. It's just a lot faster. Because some of these are good distances away. From my main area, and so like this is a prime example of I got bored one day, and so I built a new little area. And I don't know, I mean, I built this ridiculous rail system just to get over to this building, and so I haven't decided on whether or not I'm going to expand this area, if I'm going to continue to build on it, because the idea was that this would just continue up to the sky, and this would just continue to have wings coming out and branching up, and I think I just stopped building at a certain level because I got bored, and I might continue to build it up, or I might just give up on that dream. But I like how fast it is to climb ladders now, so I might continue to build it up and out, but yeah, it's what I do when I'm bored. And the nice thing is well, I mean, not really too much anymore because of the endless map now, but it's like you can see over there in the distance, right there, is another building. And the way I have it now is you don't really go out of sight of buildings. So if you were to go like that way, for example, I believe is the way to the main city, and you'll come across buildings. So it's not like you'd ever have to worry. And then the buildings have stuff in them. They have food, they have tools, and or at least an ender chest. And I always carry ender chests on me when I'm out and about. I always, have my tools and building materials, and I like to fly. If I have to go long distances, I'll fly there. And safety, repair. These are like all the stuff I store that I get while on my journey. I call it, just while I'm out and about. And then in the ender chest, I have more tools, food, in case I have it on not on or peaceful. If I take it off of peaceful. I don't think I have a rail out to this area. Or I might. Because I have large areas, sort of like this. Yeah, there's nothing here. Because like I said, I'll dig a tunnel from one end of the map to the other, and then while I'm doing that, I might get bored of digging the tunnel, and then I'll go to the surface and just build a huge area. So there are a lot of areas like that, and so that's how I ended up with like a couple thousand buildings on this map. Is I'll just get bored digging or doing whatever I'm doing and end up building an area like this. And so, for example, like the spawner building that I built with the 4 spawners in it, that probably took 4 or 5 hours. But I was sick, home from work. I had the flu, and I wasn't going to be doing anything else, so I just literally sat there for 5 hours and built that, and that's how a lot of this works. Is I'll have nothing to do and no plans to go to the gym or something, and I'll just have a couple hours to kill, and I've already 100% in my other game or something, and so I'll just end up spending time on here. And I took a long break from it, but with this last update, I've been back on and just messing with the bees. So this is the area that I first started at, and so I believe it's this way. So like I was saying, so this is at like the edge of the world, and so what I had done is from the center of the map, which is where my main city is, I had built all along down the bottom to the bottom right corner of the map. And then this is a tunnel that's going towards the top of the map. Now that there's no edges on the world, it kind of just now covers a large portion of the map. And so along the way, I got bored of digging this tunnel, and so I ended up building a building, and then out to this area, I built a walk path. And along this walk path, every time I could no longer see the building behind me, I built another building. And so there's probably 50 plus buildings along that pathway. And that's just, you know, and then there's towers. I build towers a lot all over the place. My favorite to build are the water towers or the lava towers, because they're huge, but they take minimal resources, but they still look good. But I can't believe how slow they made these damn minecarts, because normally I don't take this long to get to my areas. Normally this is really fast. And now it's super slow. Because some of these go for example, to get out from one area to the main city on a rail before this update can take up to 5 minutes. That's just how long the tunnel is. And now I'm sitting here like, man, how long is it gonna take going this slow? So this is one of those where you definitely get the ride the rail trophy on these long ones. One of the things I do want to do eventually is come down here and do like the spiral pattern on the walls, so that when you're riding through here it's just kind of trippy and fun. But that will have to be a project down the road. God, it's so slow. And so this is like, I'm just going to continue this tunnel, but you know, this is one of those I got bored. And I'm not even sure where this comes out in the Nether. That was one of the things that was extremely frustrating to me. And I'm hoping they fix it on this update, is it would just spawn a random, instead of going back to the same portal, it would just spawn a random one, and God, it would drive me nuts. Because I keep trying to map them. It was almost impossible to map them. So I believe now you have to like walk over to this one. And that's what was driving me nuts, is they wouldn't let you use the same. See, so like it just created a random one, and it's like, well, what the fuck? I think this is just because in the new update, ladders don't block water anymore, which is had killed a lot of my areas because I have a lot of areas blocking water. But yeah, so it just spawns you in this random place. And I wish they would have never done that update. Because I enjoyed being able to go back to the same place I wanted to go. And that's the thing, I'm worried now about coming into the Nether outside of the areas I have built, because now that it's endless, I couldn't even imagine getting lost in here, and because I don't know how easy it would be to get my way out. But luckily I do carry enough, I always have enough obsidian and flint and steel to be able to create a portal. Yeah, see, it doesn't even put me back in the damn building. It spawns me in this damn portal over here. It's like, just use the same damn portal. Fuck you, bunny. I like how, like, everything gives you leads now. I put a freaking lead on a bee. I didn't think it was gonna work, but yeah, I had a pet bee for a while. Nope, 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 nope. Alright, well, I'm gonna make my way to the... Alright, well, I'm gonna make my way to new area and go back to bee herding. I might jump on some ghost recon for a little while. Oh yeah.